Let me tell you about one of my favorite slept on TCGs, or would you call it an ECG, whatever. This is Twilight of the Gods, Age of Revelation. Made by Kluwe, actual NFL punter, who played with the Minnesota Vikings back in the gap, not that long ago. Okay, so this guy, he was actually, how I first saw this guy, he actually did an episode of TableTop with Wheaton of Shut Up Wesley fame. Shut Up Wesley. So he beat everybody in my favorite board game to this day, Champions of Midgard. And then, okay, so one year I worked at BGG Con. I think it was 2019. Thanks to my boy Val. Val, who we got a game together. We're in the Dallas Design Group. Shout out to the Dallas Design Group. So he told me about BGG Con. I worked BGG Con that year. This was the same year that Keyforge came out. So I think that was 2019, I think. But yeah, so everybody was all crunk enamored about Keyforge coming out. Then I was working the booth, and then next to my booth, like real close to my booth, they had Victory Point Games, which had this game. And Chris Kluwe was there with his backwards baseball cap. So he was demoing the game, and then, like, you know, I mean, I was all excited about Keyforge. Then I got all excited about this one. And then eventually, I didn't get it that weekend, but I got it soon thereafter. Yeah, so I guess while I'm opening it, I'll tell you more about it. Comes with an extra pack of Elder Gods in the back, looks like. Yeah, I've shot a gameplay to this coming up soon, so look out for that. Put the camera back a bit. Yeah. Right, scoot this pack. This thing is tough. Safe and sound. The Elder Guides. And the box opening. Comes with 2 playmats, so now I've got 4. Move stuff out of the way so I can put the playmats down. The playmat down. Okay, so as we can see with this, combat field aspects. So these are your resources. They come in 3 varieties: the copper, the silver, and the gold. The triangle, the square, the circle, or the lesser, the greater, and the exalted aspects. Not resources, not land, but aspects. Resource area, combat field. It gives you the turn sequence right here. The refresh phase, like, you know, untap. Draw phase, draw 2 cards, except first player, first turn. Trade phase. This is what makes this game truly unique. In this game, there's no other way to play resources other than to trade for the resources. To trade for the resources, you just simply ask your opponent and you propose a trade. Either one of you can propose a trade. So you can go like, I'll trade you 3 triangles for 1 circle. Or you can go like, I'll trade you 1 square for your 3 circles. If they really need a square, they might take that trade. This can go back and forth until the both of you guys agree. If either of you says no trades, then we can go to the there's a seize phase where you can force the opponent to take the top card of their deck. Okay, you get the resources from the top of the opponent's deck. No. You get the resources from the opponent's hand, unless you do a seize trade, which is you take the top card of their deck. If you want that card, you can seize it by paying. So this is a 1, this is a 2, this is a 3. If you want a circle from the top of your opponent's deck, you're gonna have to pay 3 plus 2. You'll have to sack 5 cards from your hand to take their circle from the top of their deck, if you didn't trade any other way. And then, okay, minus the after the seize phase. Okay, another part of the trade phase is if the top cards of your deck, which is your life stack, your deck. This is a life decking game. If the top card of your deck matches the same symbol color as the opponent's deck, then you get to do like an even swap or whatever. So whenever you get the resources out, whenever you successfully trade resources or whatnot, then they'll go face down into the aspect stack, which you cannot see yet. Whenever it's time for you to play land for turn or whatnot, so I mean, when it's time to play a resource for the turn, you'll slide one of these guys from your aspect stack into there. Like it's super cool. All right, so that's the aspect stack. That's the went past the seize phase, resource phase. Okay, yeah, resource phase. You get to put a new aspect, which is a land, into the resource area. That's the resource phase. Then we got the summoning phase. You know, pay for your guys with your resources. Then we got the combat phase, declare attackers, declare defenders, replace defenders, resolve creature damage, resolve discard stack damage, resolve life stack damage in the end phase. Right. So yeah, that's the board and that's the phases. Rulebook. The other board. Pull back the box back out. Some other games by Victory Point Games. Darkest Night. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Darkest Night. Dawn of the Zeds. The Healthy Heart Hospital. Nemo's War 2nd Edition. Zulus and the Ramparts. I heard that's really good. Shaka Zulu. Love that Shaka Zulu. Twilight of the Gods. This game and Chariots of Rome. Right. Okay, these chits, this is for damage. These are for +1/+1 counters. These green things. These neuron brain synapses things. These are just reminder tokens to remind you that something is important. And this blue thing, it's frozen. I think it's kind of like stun, tap down or something like that. Yeah, I mean, you'll get frozen for like a certain amount of turns or something like that. Okay, and we got these big tarot cards, the your avatar. Then we got the smaller ones. So like the history of the game is like they're supposed to do like real mythical historic figures or whatever. These will be your heroes or whatnot, and then they're supposed to like touch every continent, every country's almost is lore, which they got pretty far. They did a lot of them. So all right, 3 big stacks of regular cards, 4 big stacks of regular cards, tokens, got deck boxes for 4 decks. So now I've actually got 8 boxes. And then one thing I didn't go over is these fortification spots. So you can have 4 fortifications, up to 4 fortifications. The thing about fortifications is they give you big buffs, but they often have an upkeep cost. So, and if you can't pay the upkeep cost, you're gonna have to sacrifice the fortification. Which the fortifications are basically enchantments in Magic, field spells in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah. Open this now or later? I don't know, but let's just yeah, so the other big part of the game is you've got these things called manifesting. manifesting is basically Yu-Gi-Oh! Trap cards. Whenever you trade for aspects, aka your resources, they're gonna come from the opponent's hand. Okay, so they'll give you a card. So say that you trade, say that y'all do like a 1-for-1 trade. Say I'll trade you a 2 square for a 2 square. So I'll have this in my hand, I'll have this 2 card in my hand. The opponent can't see what's on the bottom of this card. They'll never see it until they manifest it, which is to flip it up. Then they have to deal with what's on the bottom of the card most of the time. Okay, so let's read this. Let's say that I traded my opponent 2 for 2. So they get this 2, I get their 2. Their 2 goes into my aspect stack, mine goes into their aspect stack. Whenever I play this out into my resource area, then if something calls me to manifest this, I will actually take this, flip it up, and deal with what it says on the bottom. Sometimes it's bad, rarely it's good, sometimes it doesn't hit you, but oftentimes it's a trap card. So say that I were manifesting this. Manifesting player, renewal, manifest 1 square. What renewal is, we could look in the book in a minute, but manifest 1 square. So you would have to manifest another square card and then inflict 2 damage to 1 creature, then restore 1. So you would have to do 2 damage to one of your creatures, which 2 damage will often kill a lot of creatures. And the damage is recurrent. The damage is persistent, so it doesn't go away between turns like magic. So that's a big loss right there to take 2 damage. And then restore 1 is put 1 back on your deck, which is your life stack. Yeah. Alright, so that was one of the cards. Let's flip through some more of the cards. Alright. Yep, fortification. Most fortifications have an upkeep cost, but this one costs you 1 copper, aka circle, aka lesser aspect. And it's got to be played into the south, so like you can have 1 of each, like I say. Be played on the south. Sand dune environment, fortification right there, the type. Creatures declared as attackers against you lose relentless and suffer -1 attack and -1 health until end of turn. Yeah, so like, you know, this is a permanent enchantment, permanent field spell. 2 sand dunes, nomad camp. Nomad camp, south fortification, village. End of your draw phase, place 1 nomad mini card into play. And of course we got the mini cards. And that's not a nomad, but that's a leper. Can't damage life stacks. And you can choose to, when you attack, the opponent can let the damage go to your life stack. You lose your whole life stack, your deck, you lose the game. Or they can block with their own creatures. Alright. So yeah, nomad camp. End of your draw phase, place 1 nomad mini card into play. If there is a sand dune beneath this card, all your nomads gain 2 blessings when they come into play. Blessings are these green tokens. They're +1/+1 counters. Okay, Verdant Oasis. It's a south. Verdant Oasis is going to cost you, and like it's a level 2 card because like, you know, you need a level 2 to cast it. Costs you 1 circle, 2 squares. Right there in your aspects area. 1 circle, 2 squares to cast this thing. And then that gives you tap a creature to remove 1 damage from itself. Destroy this card to remove all damage from 1 creature. Yeah, that's great. So just a healing enchantment right there. Okay, then we got another Senate floor, and there are 4 colors in the game: the red, the blue, the green, and the brown. And then I'm sure there are neutrals too. But yeah. Okay, and then the Imperial Palace. This one actually has a triangle, which you call Exalted. And it's a level 3 because it has a level 3 in the casting cost. Imperial Palace, North, Epic Keep, Armor 1, and then this thing right here, this symbol right here is called Conviction. That means if all cards on your combat field and your discard are all of the same color, then you're within Conviction, and you can do the following effects, which is if you're in Conviction, creatures that damage your life stat gain 1 freeze marker. Freeze, as I said, is the blue icy things. Creatures that damage your life stack gain 1 freeze marker. So if guys attack into your life stack, they get freeze marker, which means they're basically tapped down for a turn, something like that. When freeze markers are removed from a card, that card's controller suffers 1 damage. So that is a sweet one right there. And it has no upkeep, so that's great. The upkeep, let me pull out a card with upkeep. But anyway, if you control the Julian Apostate, refresh 1 creature and 1 aspect during each opponent's refresh phase. So yeah, that's great. Oh, and there's another mechanic to the game. It has mana burn, which is called something else, but it's mana burn though. So say that you have an untapped resource right here, a level 3 exalted gold triangle resource. If that's untapped at the end of your turn, you're gonna suffer 3 mana burn, which means that you'll have to discard 3 cards from your life stack, bringing you closer to death. When you got 0 cards in your life stack, you lose the game. Yeah, so that's a sweet card. And now, like, I have way more of these cards, so I can get to some real good deck building. And most of these cards, I think all of these cards have some kind of manifest on the bottom. So this one is tap all 9 this type, the blue type creatures. Controlling player suffers 1 point of damage for each creature exhausted this way. So whenever you flip this and manifest it, you can make that happen. Okay, Leper Quarter. That's a gold, 1 gold to cast. Northern Fortification. Village Ruin. End of your draw phase. Place 1 leper mini card into play. Yeah, and you also have a creature limit in this game. So say that you, the amount of resources that you have out of each type. So say you got 3 circle resources out. You can only have 3 circles worth of creatures out. So like this is 1 circle worth of a creature. If you have 2 triangles, well, I mean, if you have 1 triangle resource out, then you cannot have 2 triangle creatures out. One of them has to get sacrificed. There's a creature limit. So yeah, that's another good mechanic of the game. Good aspect of the game. Plague of Locusts, just flipping through a few cards. Plague of Locusts, which is a level 3 card. Gonna cost you 1 square in 2 triangles to bring them out. Plague of Locusts, and it has an upkeep cost, which at the beginning of every turn, you're gonna have to pay 1 square and 1 triangle to keep this guy out. So like, it must be really important. It's an intrigue card, which is some kind of card. Okay, economics, start of your end phase, destroy 1, then obliterate 2 to 1 player. So destroy 1, I'm thinking it's a creature, but it's probably not a creature. It's probably a card from the top of their deck. But destroy 1, obliterate 2 to 1 player, and then flipped over, manifesting player may put this card into play under their control. Yeah, so if you luck up and manifest this guy, you get to put this card into play under your control. So this is actually a buff rather than a neg right here. Alright, so that's an intrigue card. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, just so many cards to go through. A great value. You can find it pretty cheap. Or go to victorypointgames.com. Alright, crack open another stack. Man, I might even save these for another day, because I mean pretty much you get the gist of it. But let me open up these avatar cards. Okay, Mars. You can have 10 cards outside of this house, I believe, outside of this color in this deck. But But you can also go monocolored to make sure you always stay within conviction. So he's got active effects and a passive effect. Flip this card after resolving its active effect. So this is like the commander or the J ruler. So you can judgment this guy by doing the active, then you got to flip it over, then for the rest of the game it can never judgment again. Okay, so the active is trigger after defenders are declared. Choose one of your attacking creatures to gain initiative this turn. I'm pretty sure that's like a first strike or something. So okay, and then if you're in conviction within the field and the graveyard, you get to inflict 3 damage to all other players and 1 damage to yourself. So yeah, so by the sounds of that, this can be like a 4-player game, which I have enough for 4 players now. That's great. All right, and then Hera, she can have 10 cards out of the blue color. Active, you may manifest 1 brown card, 1 circle card from your hand, copper card from your hand, as if it were in another player's resource area of your choice, then return it to your hand. So you can do some kind of trickery. Okay, then of course after you do the active, you got to flip it over. Some of these guys have passives too. Let me read one guy with the passive. Manifest, you may choose to reveal your hand. If you do, not manifest, but conviction. So you may choose to reveal your hand. If you do, all these blue type cards, so if you do and all your cards are this type, you may likewise manifest 1 square as well, then return it to your hand. So you can manifest those too and just really mess up your opponent by manifesting stuff that they don't want or stuff that you do want. All right, let me go to a guy with a passive. These are all actives. They all got the nice foil on the back. Always appreciate some nice foil. Yep, and that's Mars. So you get Mars twice. Like they gave you some just some oversized cards, just in case if you want to deck build and 2 of you want the same guy maybe. All right, so let me go to somebody with a passive. Okay, so like Inanna, I'm sure she's somebody from Indian or maybe Native American folklore, but she can have 25 out of the red color, I think, in the deck, it looks like. And then passive, her passive is your creatures get +1 fight. So all the creatures get +1 fight. That's amazing. And then active, inflict 3 damage to target creature, which you'll just use that when you really need to do it because the passive is so great. But then once you use that active, you got to flip it. Then you no longer have access to the passive. Actually, this looks Egyptian because there goes a Ankh type thing there, so my bad. All right, and then let's go to somebody. Okay, another Egyptian person. Sesat. Passive, your circle creature limit is increased by 1. So yeah, like I said, creature limit, you get +1 right there. So you can have a lot of low drops with her out. And then active is if you're within conviction, all blue cards on field and discard pile. The first time you manifest this turn, choose 2 legal targets, look at both, and manifest one of your choice. Then flip the other face up until end of turn. So you can actually screw the opponent, but when you're manifesting, you're the manifesting player. But then there's something also about whoever's card it is. It gets kind of confusing, but I'm sure once you get it down, it's off the chain. Okay, that's definitely an Indian god thing right there. Okay, here we go. Let's go to an African person. Asaseya, yeah, maybe Egyptians too, but yeah. Asaseya, passive, at the start of your end phase, draw a card, and then active, manifest 1 square in your resource area. So yeah, so you get a free draw. That's great. And then active, manifest 1 square. Yeah, so you never really want to do that until you just really have to. But yeah, the games games are pretty exciting. I got 1 gameplay already filmed. Didn't get to finish that game, but the homie Travis was so eager to play another one. I went ahead and bought this so we can both have a rule book. The rule book, I mean, it's like once you get through it, it's pretty not as complex as it seems at first. So yeah, these are the type of cards: creatures, fortifications, intrigues, and schemes. Okay, intrigues are, yeah, so intrigues are powerful, but their power comes with the maintenance cost. Okay, so my bad. Fortifications don't come with a maintenance cost. Intrigues are the enchantments that come with an upkeep cost. So like if you can't pay for the upkeep cost, you're gonna lose the intrigue card. Schemes, those are your actions. No, I mean those are your instants and your sorceries, quick time cards. Active effect, AE, aspect card, conviction, yeah, discard, destroy. To place a card into the card's owner's destroyed stack, removed from the game. Destroyed is removed from the game. Destroyed is removed from the game. So I mean, that's like Exile. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up before 30. But yeah, give you a look at the cards, at the rule book. It's also got a separate book for the glossary of terms. Very magic-like terms, but then yeah, let's go ahead and let's save that for another day. The Elder Gods.
Game changer, motivator, record breaker. Put that work in, level up, escalators. Focus on your missions, be no competition. Unlock potential, tell these haters, see your vision. It's hard work, determination, train go, every situation. First in, last out, leave it on the field, destroy it down. When I turn it on, I leave it on. When it's winning time, I'm in the zone. My legacy is great, it's built off loyalty and patience. Now I'm on.